It's 3 a.m. and all my bloody sheep have gone. They've done one. I've been lying here that long. Is that you? You're exhausted, but your mind's still running away with you. And without realising it, you're doing something most people do at night that actually makes anxiety worse. You're trying to control it. You're trying to control it through thoughts. You're trying to control how you actually feel. You're trying to control the outcome. And ironically, that's often what's keeping you awake. So it's no wonder the sheep have done one. Because the more that you try to force yourself and force your mind into silence, the more alert it becomes, because it then goes on a, "Ooh, are you trying to shut me up? What's going on here then?" So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Cheryl and I'm the creator of the Heart to Heal method. And I work with people who are experiencing anxiety and overwhelm and burnout and emotional pressure. And that includes professionals, leaders, high achievers, people who appear to be completely fine during the day, but struggle with racing thoughts at night. And one of the most common patterns that I see is this: the harder that I try to stop thinking, the worse it gets. And I understand that pattern, not just professionally, but personally too. There were periods, in my life where I was carrying significant amounts of emotional pressure, responsibilities, and life's instabilities. And I tried to think my way out of that. I tried to control it. I tried to fix it. I tried to manually solve it overnight. And to be honest with you, it rarely worked, if ever. So in this video, I'm going to explain what happens, why the control seems to backfire at night, and what actually helps to calm both the mind and the nervous system. Most people respond to nighttime anxiety by trying to fix it. So it'll often sound like, I need to sort this out now. If I get it all sorted in my mind, then, I'll be able to sleep. I just need to switch my mind off and stop thinking about stuff. If I don't sleep soon, tomorrow's going to be ruined because I'm going to be that tired. I ain't going to be thinking about anything else. And on the surface of that, it feels quite responsible. It feels like you're doing a bit of problem solving. But to your nervous system, it's communicating something completely different. What it's saying to your mind is, there's a danger here that we must be in control of. And so instead of settling, your system then becomes more alert, because it controls the effort, and the effort is the opposite of rest. As this pattern continues, so it happens night after night, you might start to notice that racing thoughts escalate instead of being settled. You might find that you've got physical tension in your body. You might also find that you feel restless, or your breathing is quite shallow. You might feel really frustrated at not being able to fix it. And you'll feel stuck inside your own mind. And then your emotions start spiraling, or you get anxiety loops. And I want you to know what's important here, right? The problem isn't the thoughts themselves. It's the relationship that you're having with them problems. The more pressure that you apply to try and stop them, the more resistance you often experience. And that's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because the nervous system doesn't just calm down if you tell it to do so. Half the time, it'll probably tell you to do one. And it'll tell you to do one, especially at night, because it's saying to you, this is the only time you give me a chance to think, so I'm going to just give you everything, throw it all at you. At night time, everything changes, and it can be a really lonely place to be, because external structures have disappeared. The distractions have reduced, and your nervous system becomes more internally focused. And what that means is, your mind then goes, "Oof, we've got a chance here, we'll get in, we'll get it all out." And it starts to think about unprocessed stress, and that starts to rise to the surface. It'll think about emotional pressure that you notice more. It'll be, your mind trying to complete unfinished processing. You'll be a lot more sensitive, and you'll feel like uncertainty increases. So when you try to apply control to this state, it often intensifies the system that you're trying to calm down, like pressing the brake and the accelerator at the same time. And this is where then a loop begins. So you'll get a thought that'll appear. You try to control it, so you apply that control. Your nervous system kicks in and starts activating. The thoughts intensify, and the more control you apply. And over time, this can become really, really exhausting because you're like running on the hamster wheel all the time. It can become mentally challenging. It can become really emotionally overpowering. And you can start feeling it physically inside yourself. And for many high-performing people that I work with, this becomes a hidden cycle that they've lived with for years without even realizing that they're living with it. And it's the mechanism that keeps them awake and it keeps them going. The shift is not about losing control. It's about changing how you use that energy. And in my work, this often involves helping people to recognize the control resistance cycles that they're in. It helps them to regulate the nervous system more effectively. It also helps them to reduce internal pressure and the urgency that comes with that. We learn to process underlying emotional loads, especially for men, because they won't offload it to anyone. You learn how to develop calm responses to thoughts that have been activated, and you start to build a resilience without over-activation. Because when the internal pressures start to reduce and they come down, the need to control every thought that you have also reduces. And that's when people often notice that it's easier to fall asleep from the outset. You feel less mental resistance at night. You reduce them overthinking loops, and you have greater emotional steadiness. And you also improve confidence in managing your own anxiety, even if you didn't really know it was there in the first place. And that's not because you've silenced the mind. It's because it no longer feels like you need to be in control of it and having it all controlled and having it all, knowing what's going on. So it's a lot easier for you then to be able to get that sleep. If this video resonates with you, then take a moment to reflect. Where are you trying to force control over something your nervous system is already struggling to settle? Because quite often the issue is not the thoughts themselves, it's the pressure to control them that keeps them alive. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, then please subscribe and follow for more content on emotional resilience, anxiety, burnout, recovery, well-being and sustainable high pressure. You can also find my weekly newsletter, Permission to Pause, or my monthly newsletter, Inner Compass, where I share deep insights and practical tools. And if you'd like to explore working with me or the Heart to Heal method, details are in the description below. Take care, and I shall see you all again in the next video. Bye for now.